NTA International News.
Symbiotic relations. National Assembly leadership visits President Buhari in London, says the president is in high spirit. National Population Commission kickstarts third phase of enumeration. More health assistance comes the way of 4 states and the Northeast. Hello, it's my pleasure to welcome you to NTA International News this hour. I'm Nancy Godiangonihu. It was a night when party affiliation and political differences took the back seats as the Nigerian Governors Forum celebrates 2 members at our valedictory ceremony and dinner held at the banquet hall of the State House. Correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Immediate past Governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, and the outgoing Governor of Ondo State are the 2 members of the forum being honored. The 2 were described variously as men of high integrity who continue to contribute their best to good governance in the country over the years. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo could not agree less with this, as he described Oshiomhole and Mimiko as men whose achievements and persons would remain evergreen in the minds of the people of the country, urging them to continue to provide services to the people of the nation.
Both of these gentlemen have distinguished themselves as governors, and there is no doubt at all that their states would be extremely proud, and all of us are extremely proud of their achievements. Let me finally say that just looking at both Governor Mimiko and Adams Oshiomhole standing next to each other, it struck me that this is the long and short of the matter. And I think that we should really give them both a round of applause, the long and short of government in Nigeria.
The night was not only for whining and dining laced with much humor, it was also a time when truth was told about governance.
Your Excellency, you provided a level playing field for everyone. I also want to thank you that if I ended my office on a happy note, it is in part because of the huge support that the federal government has extended to all the states. We may have taken those things for granted, but again, those of us who have been here, who have worked under previous presidents and previous chairman of Economic Council, we knew it was never so.
I am sure that this nation will be leader of nations. With our collective effort, and irrespective of the party we belong to, I believe that we can continue to work to advance the cause of progress in our nation.
Presents to you lovely picture of OK Donley.
The duo received precious pieces of artwork from members of the forum.
God Almighty will help you both.
And prayers from the acting president. From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Senate President Bukola Saraki and Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara and some principal officers of the National Assembly have visited President Muhammadu Buhari in the United Kingdom. The National Assembly leaders both said they were delighted to see that President Muhammadu Buhari is doing well, as was cheerful and in good spirit. President Muhammadu Buhari has been on vacation in London, United Kingdom, since 19th of January 2017. The president, on his part, expressed appreciation to Nigerians for prayers and kind wishes. Minister of Defense Mansuruddin Ali has reassured commitments towards maintaining full strength of Nigeria's military formations with additional funds as contained in its 2017 budget proposal. He stated this at the Budget Defense before the House Committee on Defense. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The need to ensure completion of the ongoing military operations in line with the mandate of protecting the security of Nigeria as a nation and its people is a major focus of the budget. Defense Minister Mansour Dangali said they managed the 2016 budget of about 29 billion naira considering the constraints in the year. 42 projects were appropriated with some at an ongoing stage due to procurement process. It includes construction of the Defense Industrial Complex in Kaduna, which attracts additional 450 million naira proposal in the 2017 budget estimate.
We will make additional effort to see by end of this budget, if not clear insurgency in Nigeria, at least we have reduced it to the barest minimum.
Defense Committee Chairman Mukhtar Betara assured continuous legislative support towards ensuring both external and internal security of the nation. Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olonishakin and Chief of Defense Intelligence Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Sani Usman have also defended their formation's budget proposals before the House Committee. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Now, the National Assembly is advocating more funds to the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board to ensure effective operation of the board. This came up when the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board appeared before the Budget Defense session of the House Committee on Local Content. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Committee's call for more funding to Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board is against the backdrop of the need to promote productivity in the local manufacturing industries. Lamenting the shortfall of 1.1 billion naira in personnel cost of the 2017 budget proposal of the board, the committee ascertained that such situation could adversely affect input of the board into the nation's economy, especially now with the government's economic diversification drive. The committee also explained that review of the establishment laws will further reposition the board to function effectively in all sectors of the economy.
The board will work something out with the committee so that we can maybe go by way of advocacy to the budget office, so that the budget office can understand the needs, can also understand what local content board is doing, the reason why local content board should be given more money instead of reducing their personnel costs.
The board explained that its 2017 capital budget of 537 million naira will go into research development, acquisition of computer softwares, and other office equipment.
ICT, in my view, is an area that we will continue to focus on because we are in Yenagua, as an example, and most of the other companies are not in Yenagua. And if you don't improve your ICT, we are on the top of their desk, they will access data. It means everybody will begin to travel to Yenagua and become absolutely ineffective.
The committee also enjoined the board to ensure adequate inclusion of local content in the ICT development in all sectors of the economy. From National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Discussants on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria program have observed that implementation rather than the budget process is what needs to be emphasized as the National Assembly opened the 2017 budget for public input last week. Gufan Shaji reports that the guests acknowledged that while the public hearing is an effort to improve transparency in the budgetary process, the public also need to monitor its implementation.
The need to stimulate real economic activities, fix critical infrastructure and provide a cushion for the poor and vulnerable are said to have been embedded in the 2017 estimates tagged Budget of Recovery.
There have been a lot of criticisms in the way that the budgeting system has been going on in the past years. So the National Assembly, the leadership of the National Assembly decided to reform the budgeting system.
However, the guests on Good Morning Nigeria say beyond deliberations on the process and content, emphasis should be placed on proper implementation and strict monitoring of the budget through oversight functions.
There is really need to have in place a legislation that empowers the National Assembly to get timely information with appropriate sanction for MDAs that are not willing to cooperate with the National Assembly in carrying out their oversight responsibility. I think this is key to a productive implementation of the budget.
The discussants also said for the budget to remain the most potent fiscal policy instrument of government in delivering socio-economic benefits in an all-inclusive manner, priority must be given to areas of capital expenditure.
What we need is to improve the 2017 level of budget implementation, especially the capex. We cannot continue to achieve 100% on overheads, and then we achieve abysmal percentage capacity in the capital expenditure. That means we are dwarfing the expected economic development.
The discussants also harped on continuous reorientation of the citizenry to patronize made-in-Nigeria products. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to addressing challenges confronting women and girls in the country. Minister of Women Affairs Aisha Jumei Al-Hassan stated this during the 2017 Women and Girls Summit in Abuja. Murjanatu Adam Saeed has details.
The girl child represents the next generation, but Nigerian girls continue to be in a disadvantaged position. Observers here believe Nigerian girls and women still live behind the shadow of their male counterparts. Nigeria's Minister of Women Affairs says mere speculations on the statistics about women and girls will not help to articulate a better deal on them. Hence the need for increased data generation and management.
This government takes the issue of girl education, girl protection, girl empowerment very seriously. And that is why you have seen what is happening here today. And I'm sure you have had the reports, you have had the testimonies, and by the grace of God, we intend to do more.
The minister, however, stressed that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is not resting on its oars in the fulfillment of its campaign promises.
We have equally completed and produced our research on the update of baseline survey of maternal health indicators in Nigeria in 12 states of the Federation.
They should give, the government should give some special considerations to the welfare of the girl's child in Nigeria.
So far, compared to a decade ago, I see an improvement, effective change, but there's still room to do more.
Other speakers agreed that empowering the girl child will contribute to sustainable national development, which the theme for the summit is putting the girl child at the heart of national development depicts. In Abuja, Murjanatu Adam Saeed, NTA News.
A peaceful rally in support of President Muhammadu Buhari's fight against corruption has been held in Kano. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that hundreds of youths took part in the rally tagged "I Stand with Buhari."
These are supporters of President Muhammadu Buhari under the umbrella of I Stand with Buhari for good governance in Nigeria. The rally, which began from Zoo Road, Maiduguri Road, advanced to State Road and terminated at the southern gate of the Emir's Palace with placards indicating support for the present administration. Chairman of the 19 northern states and Kano coordinator for I Stand with Buhari, Kabir Ishaq Said says, corruption has been the bane of Nigeria's development, hence the need to support President Buhari in the fight against corruption.
The reason why we hold this rally is to show our total support to President Muhammadu Buhari and to keep praying for him and Nigeria in general. We held a rally in Abuja yesterday and we hold it today. Tomorrow we are going to hold it in Kaduna State, and the last city is Lagos State.
On the success against insurgency in the northeast geopolitical zone, the coordinator appealed for more support and prayers to bring an end to the menace.
You are watching the news on NTA International, and we're reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. More reports when we return.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Ministry of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information. SMS 090-9806-7946. Whistleblowers portal www.finance.gov.ng. Email address whistle@finance.gov.ng. The ministry encourages all Nigerians with information on misconduct, violation or improper activity which can impact negatively on the Nigerian people and government to report it through the 3 channels dedicated for that purpose.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Now the rest of the news. In the next 3 weeks, the National Population Commission will kickstart the 3rd phase of Enumeration Area Demarcation, EAD, for 2018 Population and Housing Census. To effectively carry out this task, the Commission's chairman, Eze Durihoma, says adequate logistics are being put in place to ensure full deployment of 50% demarcation team and materials to the earmarked 37 local government areas within the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Chimdimandubisi reports.
In this 3rd phase of enumeration area demarcation, the National Population Commission is deploying sophisticated technology. The personal digital assistants will be used in capturing spatial data and estimate enumeration areas. This scientific method will detect human errors and prevent manipulations.
This methodology being adopted will not allow for the creation of imaginary, and that must be underlined, imaginary EAs, and any attempt to include non-existent households and buildings in the EAs will be dictated through satellite imagery.
The chairman appealed to states, local governments, security and traditional institutions to properly sensitize the people on the project, as well as provide security and accommodation for the officials. At the end of this phase, 74 local government areas would have been demarcated. The Commission is also awaiting the presidential proclamation, which will unlock funds to demarcate the remaining 700 local government areas. In Abuja, Chimdimandubisi, NTA News.
The federal government has launched the implementation of a European Union-funded project to support maternal, newborn and child health, as well as health system strengthening and polio eradication in the country. The first phase, valued at €70 million, is to be jointly implemented by the UNICEF and World Health Organization in partnership with the target states of Sokoto, Kebbi, Bauchi, Adamawa and Anambra. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the report.
The European Union has under its social sector intervention in Nigeria, improving access to quality primary health care, the fight against malnutrition, routine and polio immunization campaign, among others. Out of the amount, €50 million distributed through UNICEF aims at ensuring that Adamawa, Bauchi and Kebbi states have functional primary health care centers, while €20 million disbursed through the World Health Organization will support strengthening of healthcare systems towards achieving universal health coverage in Anambra and Sokoto states.
That I have seen too many health centers without water, without electricity, without feeder roads in the middle of nowhere.
Mr. President flagged off the revitalization process and called on international partners to support the efforts. And we want to thank EU for giving the support at an appropriate time.
The days should be gone whereby a lot of these projects are conducted through consultants. A lot of the monies set aside for this going towards consultancy more than meeting the needs of the target groups.
The project will also support efforts to eradicate polio in the country, while by 2020, lessons learned and best practices documented will be used to support advocacy for scaling up in the benefiting states and the rest of the country. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Central Bank of Nigeria disburses $2.83 billion in 2 months into critical sectors of the economy. Details of this and more with Olayinka Ojo on Business News.
Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has disbursed $2.83 billion for the utilization in the critical sectors of the economy between December 2016 and January 2017. A release by the Acting Director of Corporate Communications Department of the CBN, Isaac Okorafor, stated that manufacturing raw materials and agriculture, among others, topped these disbursements targeted at employment-generating and wealth-creating sectors of the economy. The sum of $609 million and $228 million were released for raw materials between December and January, while manufacturing also attracted the sum of $53 million and $71 million during the same period. The president of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Kanayo Nweze, says rural development is a moral obligation, especially when people in such communities are faced with prospects of dying in poverty and hunger. Kanayo Nweze said this at IFAD 40th Governing Council meeting, where he made the appeal to government. He emphasized the need for continued rural investment in order for communities to meet their commitment to ending poverty and hunger by 2030, which is outlined in the Sustainable Development Goals. To money markets, a check at closing figures on the floor of the stock markets. And that does it on the business segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo.
And it's time to join Adebola Brookslyn Sunday for stories across the globe.
The Democratic Republic of Congo's budget minister, Pierre Kanguda, says